What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Shaw Sports Talk. On today's episode, we'll be talking about UFC 319 and Khamzat Chimaev's dominant performance, and then we're going to look at Scottie Scheffler's remarkable comeback at the BMW Championship, and then finally, we're going to recap some NFL preseason games, and we're going to talk about who stood out to me. Let's go! Now first, let's dive into the biggest event that happened over the weekend. UFC 319, Chimaev vs. Du Plessis. Now before I move on to the main event, I just want to say UFC 319 was one of the wildest events I've ever seen. I mean, you had two back-to-back spinning elbow KOs, you had a huge upset, and you had one of the most dominating championship performances of all time. I mean, it was a wild time in Chicago, Illinois at the United Center. Now, when it comes to the main event, there's one question you have to ask yourself. What is more impressive? Seeing a man knock another man out or seeing a man put another man in the crucifix position 5 times? Because that's exactly what Chimaev did to DDP. Now, here are my thoughts on this. Listen, let's take a look at a fight like McGregor versus Alvarez. This was a championship fight back in the day for those who don't know. That was a dominant performance. I mean, McGregor really stood up and pieced up Alvarez bad. But in my opinion, the ultimate show of dominance is when you can take a man down and hold him there against his will. Because that's what we saw with Khamzat. I mean, he took down DDP 12 times. He had 21 minutes of ground control. I mean, he physically dominated him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an MMA expert or a wrestling expert. However, I did wrestle most of my childhood, pretty much all of my childhood. And I can tell you the first thing they teach you is how to defend a takedown. You got to stuff the head and you got to get your hips back. And I saw in either round 2 or round 3, Khamzat Chimaev take a shot on Dricus. And Dricus Du Plessis literally tried to jump out of the way of the takedown. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, this thing is cooked. As this fight was going on, one of my boys texted me. Now, I'm not going to say his name, and I'm not going to air him out because he's usually a pretty smart guy. But he texted me during this fight and said, man, this is a perfect plan for DDP. It was after like the first or second round. And I said to him, he just got put in a crucifix position. Like, how can you say this is a perfect plan? He's like, oh, no, he didn't. He kept his composure. He didn't freak out. He didn't take too much damage. He's going to get him in the later rounds and be just fine. And I'm like, no, bro, this is over. I'm telling you, the gap is way too wide in the wrestling. He's getting put in crucifix positions. This thing is done. If Dricus really wanted to win this thing in the later rounds, he really needed to close that wrestling gap tremendously. I mean, he didn't challenge Khamzat in any way, and he didn't make Khamzat earn anything. Those takedowns were way too easy. And once Khamzat took DDP down, he was able to hold him down way too easy. I mean, if he would have challenged him, he could have then started to wear on his gas tank. But he didn't. Khamzat could have fought like that for weeks on end. Now, we've seen Khamzat struggle with 2 people in his UFC career. Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. Now, why did he struggle? Because those 2 made him earn everything. Let's look at the Usman fight. In that fight with Kamaru Usman, Khamzat Chimaev went 4 of 12 in the takedown department. Kamaru stuffed 8 of his takedowns. And when you have to keep working to get those takedowns, that's when you start getting tired. Also, what Usman did a good job of is once he finally got taken down, he knew how to wrestle from the bottom, and he was able to get back up to his feet. So Khamzat had to exert even more energy to try and keep him down. And what happened when the 3rd round rolled around? Khamzat was dead tired, and Usman started picking him apart. If that fight would have gone 2 more rounds, Kamaru Usman probably would have beat him. But he did that by successfully challenging him. He defended takedowns, he stuffed takedowns, and he was able to get back up on his feet once he got taken down. DDP got taken down 5 seconds into the damn fight. At the end of the day, I don't know if Dricus was just that outclassed in the wrestling department or if he was just really unprepared for the wrestling. But either way, that wrestling gap was just way too large. And that's why Khamzat Chimaev is your new undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Now let's move on to the back-to-back spinning elbow KOs. First, we saw Carlos Prates utilize the spinning elbow against Jeff Neal at the buzzer of round 1. And this one's pretty simple to break down. Carlos Prates was flowing all night long. I mean, he looked sharp from the opening bell. He was hitting him with some clean shots. He was accurate. He was sharp. And he was doing all types of fun stuff the whole round. And he caps it off, like I just said, with that buzzer beater spinning elbow and puts Jeff Neal out cold. I mean, this guy looked unbelievable. I can't wait to see where he goes from here. After the fight, he goes to the back. He smokes his cig in the press conference room, which I thought was wild. Dana White comes in. He's like, who the hell's been smoking in here? I mean, Carlos Prates is a wild guy, but, man, he can really fight.
Sniping him right now, man.
Oh, lead elbow.
Oh! Now, this next fight, the co-main between Aaron Pico and Leon Murphy, was much more interesting to me, and here's why. Aaron Pico is one of those guys who they hyped up to be like this generational type talent. I mean, he can wrestle. He's one of the best wrestlers growing up in the world. He can box. I mean, he's just got it all. He is like, when you look at him on paper, he's got everything. And we saw him have crazy success in Bellator and, Bellator versus PFL when they did that stuff. He's had success in MMA. So he's now coming over to the UFC, and there's all this hype on him. I mean, pre-fight, DC was glazing this guy like I've never seen somebody glaze another man in my life. It was crazy how much they were hyping up Aaron Pico walking into the octagon. Now, the person he was fighting was the 6th ranked featherweight in the world. I'm talking about a nasty Englishman by the name of Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy heading into this fight was 16-0 with 1 draw. So this guy is a legit UFC fighter. Now, when this fight first got started, I was like, oh shit, this Aaron Pico guy is for real. I mean, he was ripping some clean shots to the body. His movement looked clean. I mean, he looked like he was going to live up to that hype. And this is what we often see happen with guys who come over from Bellator to the UFC. They come over with a false sense of confidence. And the reason for this is this. They go to Bellator, they bully everyone in Bellator. Then they think they can come to the UFC and bully everyone in the UFC. But that's just not the case. People in the UFC are way too advanced for this type of stuff. So here's what I think happened with Aaron Pico. I think Aaron Pico found early success with Lerone Murphy and thought to himself, this is going to be another walk in the park. I'm going to walk this dude down. I'm going to keep applying pressure, and I'm going to get him out of here. But meanwhile, while he's thinking that, Lerone Murphy is thinking, I'm getting reads on this guy. I'm reading what he's doing. I'm picking up on certain tells. I'm picking up on timing. And what does he do? He ends up timing a perfect spinning elbow of his own and brutally knocks out Aaron Pico and hits him with a brutal follow-up. I think this spinning elbow was way worse than the Carlos Prates spinning elbow on Jeff Neal.
Murphy keeping that guard high, staying composed in the face of pressure.
So much pressure.
Oh! Spinning attack! No way!
Now, I have 2 key takeaways following this fight. First off, I want to see Aaron Pico make a recovery and see what he's going to do with his future. Because at the end of the day, he is really talented. And he looked great early in that fight. So I think he makes a recovery, learns from his mistakes, and he really makes another push to get back into contention. Now, the second thing is Lerone Murphy should be next for Volkanovski, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be a great fight. But I'm picking Volk. Now, with that being said, I got 2 more things I want to quickly say before I wrap up UFC 319. First, Michael Venom Page. What a typical performance from him. If I had a fight MVP, I think he would drive me crazy. He would kill me, honestly, obviously, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I mean, respect to all these fighters, first off. But if I was like a well-trained fighter in a theoretical world, this dude would drive me crazy. I mean, he dances around. He drops me. He's talking shit while he drops me, but he doesn't really follow it up. I get up. He's dancing around. He's not doing a whole lot. Explodes, drops me again. I mean, he would just drive me absolutely insane. What a typical performance from MVP. And then last, we got good old Tim Elliott. 38 years old. He was a 3-1 dog heading into this fight with Kai. I forget his last name, but Kai something. I mean, the guy's 0-2 with 2 submissions. I don't see him lasting too much longer, to be honest, but maybe I'm just a casual. But Tim Elliott gets a guillotine in that second round, and shout out to the old guys. Now, I want to turn the page from one of the most physically violent sports in the world to one of the mentally toughest sports in the world. I'm talking about golf. And if you were able to watch the BMW Championship from this past weekend, you witnessed an incredible comeback put together by Scottie Scheffler. Let's talk about it. Coming into the final round, Scottie Scheffler was sitting in second place at 12 under par. In first place was a Scottish man by the name of Robert McIntyre, sitting at 16 under par. And this is interesting because a couple weeks ago, he actually switched his putting coach, and this really seemed to make a difference for him in this tournament. Because after Thursday and Friday, after the first 2 rounds, this dude hit 287 feet worth of putts. I mean, as soon as that ball got on the green, he was not missing a putt. And then his driving and his iron play was extremely consistent. And that's what allowed McIntyre to sit on top of the leaderboard through the first 3 rounds. Now, leading up to the final round for Scottie Scheffler, it was just business as usual. I mean, this dude is as consistent as it gets. He is near perfect. He doesn't do anything too flashy, but he just keeps the pedal down, keeps the pressure on, and he's just so freaking consistent, like I said. In fact, during the first 3 rounds, he went on a 37-hole stretch without a bogey. So if you want to beat this guy, you got to be perfect. Not for 1 day, not for 3 days, but for all 4 days of a tournament. And Robert McIntyre was perfect through those first 3 days. And when it came to the 4th day, I really thought that he was going to be the one to get it done. Now, if it was anybody else sitting at top of that leaderboard heading into that final round with Scottie Scheffler right below them putting the pressure on, I would have picked Scottie any day of the week. But Robert McIntyre, after watching him all summer, he just seemed kind of different to me. He just seemed so mentally tough and just so professional about his work. But I should have known better because when this thing got started, when this last round got started, McIntyre shoots 3 over par in the first 5 holes, and Scottie Scheffler tied the thing up just after 5 holes. And when that happened, I was like, okay, this thing's done. It's going to be smooth sailing from here on, and Scottie's probably going to win by 3 or 4 strokes. But really, it wasn't smooth sailing. It was actually a really tough finish and a really tough grind. Just when it looked like Scottie Scheffler was going to take a commanding lead and put this thing to bed, he went on a funky kind of 3-hole stretch. Holes 12 through 14, he missed 3 putts inside of 5 feet, and he bogeyed the 12th and he bogeyed the 14th. This gave hope to McIntyre and would cause the two to remain in a deadlocked, fierce battle. But this would all change at the 17th hole. I mean, everything was on the line by the time these guys got to hole 17. And what made this even more exciting was that hole 17 was the toughest hole during the week at the Cave Valley Golf Club where this thing was being played at. I mean, it's a 200-yard plus par 3. So Robert McIntyre hits first. He hits his shot and he overshoots the green. I believe he hit it like a 6-iron or something. Anyway, he misses the green and he's sitting in the rough on the backside. Scottie Scheffler comes up into the tee box, hits his shot, and misses off to the left, and he's in the rough off the green. Now, Scottie Scheffler's lie was a little bit worse, and here's why. Now, here's the rough, and here's the green, and the green kind of goes down, on a slope, and there's a bunch of water down there. So Scottie had to chip the ball onto the green, but if he chips it, too far with too much speed, that thing's going to roll right down into the water. So he had to be very careful. Whereas McIntyre's kind of sitting off to the back here, so he can just kind of chip it up and not really worry about that water too much. Scottie Scheffler goes first, and what does he do? This man hits it perfectly right on the top of the green, right where you need to hit it, and it just keeps rolling. Looks like it's going to stop right before the hole, but bam, drops right into the hole, and it's one of the most iconic moments in Scottie Scheffler's career so far.
Look at Scheffler. Can you believe what you just saw?
I mean, that chip in right there was the final nail in the coffin. That gave him a 2-stroke lead heading into the 18th. He gets to the 18th. Scheffler hits his first shot right down the center of the fairway, hits his second shot safely onto the green, 2 putts for the par, and puts this thing away. And that's how he became your 2025 BMW champion. Now, with 1 leg left of the FedEx Cup playoffs, Scottie Scheffler looks to become the first ever man in 19 seasons of the FedEx Cup to win back-to-back FedEx Cup victories. We'll see if he can get it done, which he will. It's time to jump into the sport I'm most passionate about. Let's dive into some preseason football. Now, I'm going to go ahead and focus mostly on the rookies this year because this would have been my rookie class. And 2, I just think this rookie class is so freaking good. The first performance I want to talk about is Jaxson Dart, quarterback for the New York Giants. I mean, this dude looks unbelievable. He looks like he's ready to be a superstar in the NFL right now. This man Dart has been on a tear this preseason game. He lit it up in his first preseason game, and he lit it up this past weekend against the Jets. He was 14 of 16 with 137 yards and a passing touchdown, and added a rushing touchdown on top of this as well. Now, when it comes to breaking down Jaxson Dart, here are my thoughts on him. First off, I had a privilege of being invited to the New York Giants minicamp this spring, and obviously Dart was there. And the first thing I noticed about him is his energy. He's a very high energy guy. He's a very positive dude. He's always walking around with a smile on his face. You know, a lot of the rookies gravitated towards him, and even the vets gravitated towards him. Because even though the rookie minicamp really just involves rookies, the vets are still in the building. So you're lifting with the vets, you're eating with the vets, you're in the locker room with the vets. And I just saw, you know, kind of just observing, the vets were gravitating towards him and the rookies were gravitating towards him. I mean, he has the exact type of moxie you're looking for when you're looking for a franchise quarterback. Because at the end of the day, to be a franchise quarterback, you have to have more than just talent. You have to have that swag to you. You have to have that confidence to you. And you just got to be a guy. And Jaxson Dart is a guy. The good thing about Dart is not only does he have the moxie, but he certainly has the talent. I mean, this guy broke Eli Manning's all-time passing record at Ole Miss. I mean, that's a pretty big achievement. And when you watch him on film early in the preseason, here's what you see. First, you see he's operating the offense. And second, what you see and what you really love as a Giants fan is he's putting drives together and he's putting up touchdowns. And he's going through his progressions perfectly. He's not forcing anything. He's taking what the defense is giving him. And man, he's got a lot of confidence to him. And I got an example of that right now. And the example is this. Week 1 of the preseason, when the New York Giants were playing the Buffalo Bills, Jaxson Dart saw a coverage that he liked. But more importantly, he saw a matchup that he loved. So what does he do? He checks the play, calls an audible, and then checks his receiver to a go ball. He says, I like this matchup. I think my guy's going to win. Let's go with the go ball. And what does he do? He executes that perfectly, drops back, throws a beautiful ball down the left sideline, and man, drops it right in the bucket. And this is why I love that play. This is why it really stands out to me. Yes, you want a guy that's going to operate the offense, you know, to the best of his ability. But you also want a playmaker, and you also want a type of guy who's not a robot. You want somebody who's going to read the defense and say, you know what, I want to do this, I'm going to check to this, and I'm going to make it happen. That's what you want out of your franchise quarterback. Because I've seen a lot of quarterbacks who can operate an offense really well, but they can't do that other stuff. They don't have either the confidence or just, you know, the brains to do it. So they stay within the system, and they're too robotic, and they can't make anything happen. So if you're a Giants fan, you got to love Jaxson Dart, because not only can he operate the offense, but he has the confidence and the swag to him and just the overall faith in himself to check stuff and make things happen on his own. So you gotta love him.
3rd and 5. Miller again, the tailback. Dart down the left side, caught for the touchdown.
If I had a bet on it, I truly believe that Jaxson Dart will be starting sooner rather than later for the New York Giants. Now, while I'm on the topic of the Giants, there is one other guy I want to cover, and that's wide receiver Beau Collins. This dude impressed me so much at the rookie camp when I was there. In fact, he's probably the only guy that really blew me away, and here's why. He was my partner in the special teams drills, and he was a beast. I mean, he worked his ass off. He had a great attitude. He was all about his business. No horseplay, none of that. Wasn't a very talkative guy. He was just a work guy. And, man, it was awesome seeing him get that big-time touchdown catch from Russell Wilson this past weekend. And I'm telling you, Giants fans, Beau Collins is going to be a dog for the Giants for years to come. He's big, lengthy. He's got all the talent in the world, and on top of that, he is a dog and a grinder. And you're gonna love him, New York. You're gonna love him. Next, let's look at Miami Dolphins quarterback Quinn Ewers. In his first preseason game, not so great. But in his second preseason game, we see him bounce back, go 11 of 17 with 116 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And here are my thoughts on Quinn Ewers. When I was a junior at Ohio State, I was the starting safety, and he was about a 16, 17-year-old freshman at Ohio State, and he was the starting scout team quarterback. So I would go against him every single day, and here's what I can promise you. This dude has all the arm talent in the world. He can do the no-look passes. He can throw from every angle. He can make every throw. He is as good as it gets when it comes to arm talent. But what we've seen with Quinn over his college career and even this preseason is he's inconsistent. When he's on, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But when he's down, he really struggles and puts himself in a tough spot. His biggest thing moving forward is going to be, can he smooth out the roller coaster? Can it go from this to kind of this, just smooth out that roller coaster and find a steady level of play. Because if he can find a steady level of play, he's going to have a great future in NFL, and he's going to be a great starting quarterback in the NFL. So shout out Quinn Ewers. Alrighty, thirdly, we got Browns rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders down with an oblique injury. Gabriel up. He's getting his first start in the preseason. And what does he do? He goes 13 of 18 with 143 yards, an interception, and a fumble. First, the interception. Now, I don't know what the hell the receivers were doing. They run the route in the same area. They create major traffic issues. But at the end of the day, Gabriel cannot force his throw. He gets flushed out of the pocket, scrambles to his left. I mean, just throw it away if nothing's there. Do not try and force this ball into traffic. But he does. It gets picked, and it goes back for 6. So that's the interception. Now, with the fumble, we got a wide zone. So Gabriel's got to get out there to his running back and get that ball into the pocket. But he doesn't get out far enough. It's not a clean exchange. The ball ends up on the ground. Fumble. Philly recovers the ball. This cannot happen. I don't know if his hamstring was bothering him or what, but at the end of the day, that cannot happen. Even though Gabriel had the 2 turnovers, I did think overall he played a really good game. First, let's look at his timing. I mean, his timing was on point. There's a couple third downs where he zipped that ball out there, 1, 2, 3, zipped it out to his receivers as they were breaking on their route and it hit him right on the money. You got to love that. 2, his pocket movement was great. He is a smaller guy. He was moving around in the pocket, finding those throwing lanes and getting them right through there. And 3, he ran the offense super well. He strung together some great drives, and it was just really, really fun to watch. As I was watching this game live, his performance was teetering between not so great to, man, I really like what I'm seeing. And here's what put it over the edge for me to be, man, I really like this guy. At the end of the first half, he had a 2-minute drive. It was like 1:30 on the clock, something like that. And he drove his team right down in the field goal range. But what I loved out of him, there's one play that showed me all I needed to see with Dillon Gabriel. I believe it was a 3rd down. I could be wrong. But he throws a deep dagger over the middle on the money. I mean, that is a very tough throw to make, especially in that circumstance when they're dropping a lot of guys into coverage. He puts this ball on the money. His receiver gets in the field goal range. He gets points for his team, gets points for his offense, and that was all I needed to see to know that Dillon Gabriel is going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL.
Playing pro football, that's how you know he's been around for a while.
Oh, my. That's an open spot in the middle of the field and a lot of room to run. Big-time hit at the end.
When it comes to the Gabriel and the Shedeur Sanders situation, we need to stop playing them against each other because both these guys are going to be very successful in the NFL, and they're both very different type of people and both very different players. But at the end of the day, we do have an iron sharpens iron type of thing going on here. They are in a fierce competition, and I really think this is causing both players to pull everything out of themselves and really reach their best potential. So I'm loving this competition we got going on, but I think the media is hyping it up, and this is, they got to stop playing them against each other. Like, he comes out and he says that thing like, I'm not an entertainer, I'm a competitor. There's no way that was directed towards Shedeur Sanders. I know everyone's blowing that up. Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports, I've seen them blowing up that quote. There's no way that was meant for Shedeur Sanders. So let's stop playing them against each other and let's just let them compete on an even playing field. Next, I want to shout out 2 explosive rookie running backs, Travion Henderson out of Ohio State and Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. Starting with Jeanty, I know in his first preseason game he had like negative rushing yards or something like that, but he only had 3 carries, and by the time he got the ball, the Seahawks were halfway into the backfield, 5 yards into the backfield, so I don't count that. But this past weekend, he got some blocking up front, and what did he do? He was running over 49er defenders left and right. He was fighting through contact for extra yards. I mean, this guy looked great, and he's going to have a great season. I can't wait to watch his future.
Better leverage at the line of scrimmage.
Run again
There it
with
is.
Jeanty. That's a bulldozer. He is bouncing off defenders and drag.
Now let's focus on Travion Henderson. First off, this dude is one of my all-time favorite teammates. I mean, this guy is a 10 out of 10, A-plus dude off the field. On the field, he's an intense monster. He's all about his business. He's a professional. He's a man rooted deep into his faith, so he's mentally as strong as it can be. I mean, I love this guy, and I think he's going to be a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. And we saw that in his opening preseason game. He takes the opening kickoff to the house, and then in his last preseason game, he gets some carries, and he showcases that explosiveness, that speed, that quickness. I mean, this dude is as passionate as it gets. And one thing I love about Trey is his pass blocking. Watch this dude in pass protection. This dude will hammer a freaking middle linebacker that's blitzing. I mean, he is not afraid to stick his nose in there. He's as tough as it gets. I think he's going to be better than Jeanty when it's all said and done, and I love him, and he's my RB1 out of the rookie class.
Ball's coming out. There's your speed depth. There it goes. Oh, there he goes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119
And my last shout out from the weekend is Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Man, that Chicago Bears offense looked phenomenal. If I was a Bears fan, I'd be jumping, hooting, and hollering because dang, they look good. They put up 38 points this past weekend on the Bills. I know it's preseason, but if they can replicate this in the regular season and Ben Johnson can really unlock the full potential of Caleb Williams, that team is going to be legit. That offense is going to be one of the best in the NFL. And watch out, the NFC better be on notice for the Chicago Bears. That is the end of the first official episode of Shaw Sports Talk. Go ahead and hit subscribe button because we'll be coming out with weekly episodes from here on out.